sometime once I find out photography.
So we have a beautiful day here for this groundbreaking ceremony. Thank you all for coming. This is just so fantastic. Are we ready for this library to get going? Yeah! I am so pleased to welcome you to this groundbreaking. This is a great day for the library system and for the entire Annapolis community. So before we get started, I want to recognize a few of our elected officials and special guests. First, our partner in providing first-class library services to county residents, County Executive Steve Hsu. Next, one of our library's biggest cheerleaders, Councilman Chris Trumbauer. The Speaker of the House and champion for Anne Arundel County, Mike Bush. I know that Councilman Michael Peruka is in the audience somewhere. There you are. Welcome. And our new friend, Mayor Gavin Buckley. I would also like to recognize Alderman Fred Paone and Alderwoman Rhonda Pindell-Charles. Both are huge supporters of the library, as all of these folks are. Thank you so much. I also want to recognize members of the Library Board of Trustees. Would you please stand or wave? Because I know a lot of you are here. Welcome. And also members of the Library Foundation Board of Directors. Would you, a lot of you are here too. Wonderful. Welcome. I also want to recognize some of the very most special people, the people who run and operate the Annapolis Library. The staff of Annapolis Library are kind of scattered these days, but they have shown up. Would you wave at everybody? I think we have almost the whole staff here. And the architects for the project, Ed Masick and Jeremy Klein, I believe, are here. Or at least, yeah, there they are. We work closely with County Public Works, Chris Phipps, and Central Services. Let's see, Christine Roman's back. Okay, anyway. Lastly, I'd like for everybody who hasn't been recognized to stand up and take a bow. You are our customers and supporters, and you're the whole reason that we do a big event like this and try and create these libraries. Author and educator David Lanks once said, "Bad libraries build collections, good libraries build services, great libraries build communities." For the last 52 years, we have been supporting and strengthening the community of Annapolis. And I'm proud to say that when this building is opened in late 2019 or early 2020, we're going to be able to offer a place that builds on that legacy. Libraries have evolved from solely book repositories and places of quiet solitude to thriving and sometimes loud centers of education, enrichment, and inspiration. The new Annapolis Library right here at 1410 West Street will have something for everyone. Not only will we have books, music, and movies that you expect, but also an expanded children's area, teen space, tech zone, and lots of meeting and collaboration rooms. We'll also have plenty of educational resources for students and computers with high-speed internet to bridge the digital divide. And we'll be offering more great workshops and programs on things like genealogy, money management, health, and safety. This library will benefit everyone in our community. I want to end with a final thought from the incomparable Albert Einstein. Among his many brilliant musings, he said, "The only thing that you absolutely have to know is the location of the library." So we are happy to know where our new library will be, right here. At this time, I'd like to invite the chairman of the Library Board of Trustees, Don Rowland, to the podium to say a few words.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Don Rowland. I serve as chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Anne Arundel County Public Library. We are the governing body of the library, and I'm speaking for all of the trustees today. We stand here at a pivotal moment in the future of our library system. Today marks a real renewal for us of our commitment to provide 21st century library services to the residents of Anne Arundel County. While we've been providing early literacy, high-speed computer access, job resources, small business support, and even more, this building will allow us to serve even more of the needs of our community. It will also allow our dedicated staff to be able to better provide education, enrichment, and inspiration for all of our customers and indeed all of the people of Anne Arundel County. The role of the library is evolving in step with our rapidly changing world. Libraries have shifted now from consumption of books to places of creation. They are no longer places of just transactions, but of transformation. Libraries have become the hub of knowledge and learning in the city and offer everything from health and wellness classes to 3D printing to in-depth instruction in sorting out fake news from real. Libraries are truly the third place for people to go after their work and home. Some place where they can go, they can create, they can explore, and very importantly, they can feel safe. And I'm so thrilled that this library will soon provide that kind of third place for all of our residents. This afternoon, this occasion we're here today for wouldn't have been possible without the support of three extraordinary individuals. I'd like to ask Speaker of the House Mike Bush, County Executive Steve Shue, and Councilman Chris Trumbauer to come forward for a special presentation.
Wow.
We have here a gold library card for each of you.
No late fees, right?
We're acknowledging your unwavering support of our libraries and of the communities they serve. Without your commitment, we would not be standing here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's great.
Wonderful. Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Prominent place on my wall for that.
Thank you so much, Don. Next, I would like to invite the county executive, our biggest partner, to the podium.
Thank you, Skip. Good afternoon, everyone. What a beautiful Anne Arundel County day. I think spring is finally here. Yay. Hallelujah. We have a great library system here in Anne Arundel County. We are so fortunate to have that resource to our citizens, for our citizens. And the reason it's as great as it is because we have really strong leadership. We have a very strong library board. We have a very strong foundation board, and we have very strong operating day-to-day leadership under Skip Auld and his team. And I want to thank them for all they do throughout the year. And I especially want to thank them for all they did to make today a reality. This new library would not be here without the advocacy of Skip Auld and the leadership of the board and the board members. Yeah, let's give them a round of applause. I also want to thank our partner in this project, Chris Trumbauer, for his great work and advocacy. And I want to shout out our Director of Public Works. The ball is now being lateraled to Chris Phipps and his team at Public Works to make this building come up out of the ground on time, right? On budget?
Yes.
We're there on that?
Hello, buddy.
Excellent. And finally, I want to point out Education Officer Emily Brandenburg. Emily, give a wave. Everybody see you there. Emily is responsible for coordinating the relationship between the administration, the county, and the library system, and she does a wonderful job at that. So today is the groundbreaking, the first day of construction for the first new library in Anne Arundel County in 14 years. I don't know about you, but I think that's a really long time. It's about time. And this new library will be the flagship of the entire system, and I believe a model for the state. The facility will be 24,000 square feet, dramatically larger than the current facility, and it'll be a place that brings together the entire city of Annapolis. This will be a place where children and parents alike can fall in love with reading, where communities can come together to discuss important issues and to build stronger ties. The new Annapolis Library is the first step in a concerted effort to accelerate library construction and to expand the system as a whole so that every neighborhood in Anne Arundel County is served by a community library. We're committed to the principle that every community in Anne Arundel County should be served by a neighborhood library. After Annapolis, we will be turning our attention to the Pasadena community and rebuilding the library at Rivera Beach. That is currently in the design phase. Thereafter, we'll be looking at Glen Burnie. We've also worked with the library system to develop a long-range facilities plan to make sure that every community that currently is not served by a library will be served by a library in the near future. And finally, I want to point out the progress we've made with the system's materials budget. 3 years ago, Skip Ald and I shook hands on a deal to increase the materials budget for the library system by $1 million, which is a nice round number. And this year will be the last installment on that commitment, and I'm pleased to report that we have seen a rather dramatic increase in circulation thanks to the availability of additional materials. So we're going to keep going, do our best to make our library system the very best in the state, and I look forward to a better future for this new Annapolis Library and all that we'll do for our citizens. So thank you for being here, and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. County Executive. I think that we got a typo in your square footage there. It's a $24 million library, and it'll be 32,500 square feet.
Good catch.
I would next like to invite another of our library's biggest supporters, Councilman Chris Trumbauer.
Thank you, Skip. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this. And I got to say, thanks for this made my day. Thanks for the gold card. This is great. My kids are going to be so jealous. But it's funny you mentioned the 32,500 number, because that was the number that the county executive and I agreed on. And I still remember that exact moment in the budget process where we had a negotiation. And we settled on this, and at that point we were both done, and we were like, all right, let's go build this thing, right? And you know, getting to this point was not easy, and like a good novel, it had its share of drama, intrigue, and strong characters. Okay, am I right? But like a great novel, it's gonna have a happy ending. Okay, so we're gonna get there. And there really are a number of people and organizations that contributed to us getting here, and it's very important, and I'm pleased to see everybody getting recognition. But although the bulk of the funding is coming from county and also from the state grant, there's another source that you guys might not be aware of that's not insignificant, and that is Trumbauer family late fees. Okay, so these have been contributing years and years leading up to this moment, and they're finally going to receive their value. But really, I'm so happy to be here. Unfortunately, as your lame duck councilman, I won't be here for the ribbon cutting in a couple years, but I'm very pleased to be here at the start of the process. So no one is more excited than my family and I to see this new library open. I want to acknowledge that there's going to be a little bit of turmoil while it's closed, and thankfully the library system, the county, I think, have worked very diligently to have some other spaces opened up in the meantime. That time is going to pass, and we are all going to gather here again very shortly to celebrate the opening of the brand new 32,500 square foot Annapolis Library. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for your commitment to this project. Next, we are fortunate to have Speaker of the House of Delegates, Mike Bush, here today. He has been relentless in his advocacy for Anne Arundel County projects in the Maryland General Assembly. We at the library system are fortunate to have received first a $250,000 grant and then a $1 million grant through the state's Library Capital Grant Program for this project. Mr. Speaker, thank you for your support, and please share a few thoughts with us.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Good afternoon, and it's great to see everybody out here today. The anchor of this community is this library. Let me just say this. I live right down McKendree Avenue, and I came here on weekends for readings with my kids, where they would put on the readings with my two daughters, who are now in their 20s, and prepared them to use their text message machines as they do today. Well, when I'd come up here on Saturday mornings, I'd always see my favorite author, American author, which is Mark Twain. And there's a great story about Mark Twain. When he was 15 years old, he looked down the end of the dinner table and he looked at his father, who was very content, living at home, having a little farm, and he thought his father was the dumbest person in the world. He thought he could do much better than his father, so he left home, went out on his own. Within a 6-month period of time, he had lost all the money he'd ever had, was sleeping outside, was robbed 2 or 3 different times, and then wandered back home dirty and broke for Thanksgiving dinner. And as he ate his dinner, he looked down the end of the table and he realized how smart his father had gotten in 1 year. And that leads to the drama. When we first started this project, they were going to close this library. And they were going to put it down on new library down on Route Boulevard. There were going to a couple of plots out on West Street. And, you know, I'm glad to say that at the end, we were smart enough to know to build this library right here where we already have the anchor of the community. So it has been a long journey. And I want to acknowledge Fred Payon and Alderman Pindell for all their work, because they came out and they were supportive of keeping the library right here. And I know a lot of the people in the community did that. So this is a great anchor. Goes right up to Germantown Elementary School, which is brand new, the Phoenix Center, the Art Studio. This all ties in to the city of Annapolis, as the citizens of Annapolis, to have this regional library. I want to thank the county executive. I want to thank Chris Trumbauer, who was part of bringing all this together. And no one has been a better advocate than Skip Auld for building a world-class library for our community. So I want to thank you, Skip. I will be back here with my new card, and because I know I still owe tons of fees, so I hope they don't try to collect. Thank you very much.
I think we should start a chorus of "West is best, West is best." Okay. Thank you so much. Lastly, we're going to have some remarks from our new mayor, Gavin Buckley. We really are happy to welcome you to the library family, and we look forward to working with you as we build this new library. Mr. Mayor.
Welcome. Thanks so much. Thank you. A little windy out here. How's my hair? So I want to thank the speaker, Steve, Chris, for the credit that I'm going to get for your efforts here. Thank you so much. I'm a West Street guy, so this is part of the West Street family, and this is such a necessary thing for the city. So thank you, Skip, for your introduction and for your leadership on this outstanding library system. I am pleased to be here today to help break on the city's only public library. Think about that for a moment. The Annapolis branch of the library is the only library serving nearly 40,000 people in the city of Annapolis. This is why families of Annapolis fought so hard to keep this branch right here on West Street. As I've previously said, libraries build communities. This is why I include the library on what I'm calling a cultural necklace. We envision a cultural necklace in the city through new bike paths. So if you can imagine leaving Maryland Hall and then getting to the public works site where we should have a home for the film festival, and then coming across a bike bridge and coming over here to the library, and then going on to the Poplar Trail and going on to Germantown and the art school over there, and then going out to the stadium, and then looping back round to St. John's, and then coming into the historic district. If we could do that safely on a bike path, what a great community we would live in. And if our kids could get around safely and not get killed on bikes, which is what happens if you take that risk. So Steve's a big advocate for it, Chris is, I know Mike is, and we're going to have a beautiful connected city through this, and this is going to be a big anchor for that. Libraries are one of the few places where everyone has equal access and everyone is welcomed no matter what. It's interesting in today's Amazon world where the naysayers predicted the end of brick and mortar libraries. I remind them that libraries are more than a place to go and pick up books. Unlike our retail stores that are being decimated by Amazon, our libraries have done an excellent job of evolving and expanding their purposes over the years, which just goes to show how smart librarians are. Not only can you pick up the latest Tom Clancy thriller, but libraries are places you can go for classes like basic computer training, financial management. They're also doing an outstanding job teaching language classes, helping our growing global village here in Annapolis. You can even receive Narcan training at a library as part of their efforts to end the opioid problems in our communities. But more than anything, technology in our laptops cannot replace human interaction. The most important part of the library is the staff. And I know my first crush was a librarian, I'm going to admit it. When you Google something, all you get is a list of results that some algorithm produces for you. When you ask a librarian for the same question, the librarian also can answer your question, but he or she learns more about why you're asking and guides you and makes sure you're happy with the results. And if you cannot find the answer, they will find a way for you to get the information. This can't be replicated on the internet. I would like to thank Gloria Halberts, our Annapolis branch manager, if you could stand up. Thank you. Thank you. And her team for not only their hard work to prepare this building site, but their hard work in opening both branches at the Monarch Academy and at the mall. That was an excellent idea, and we so appreciate your efforts on that front. Your efforts to keep our Annapolis families connected to the library resources during this construction period have been great. NPR's Linton Weeks once said, and while I may be a bit impartial to this quote, in the non-stop tsunami of global information, librarians provide us with floaties and teach us to swim. Indeed, in the world of social media and the bombardment of news, both real and fake, we need our libraries more than ever to help us navigate these waters. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. I especially like your story about your first crush. I actually met my long-term wife working in the library together. She happens to be here today, blushing. We're gonna do a groundbreaking over here in just a minute. The people who are up here seated, I think some folks wanted to get a photo of this group before we go over there, and there's going to be a lot of other photos. I do want to mention a couple of things. After we do the groundbreaking, we're going to be offering tours of the old building to anyone who is interested. Just meet us at the front door. If you want to see drawings of the new library, head to the easels that are over here near the tents. We do have refreshments available thanks to the Library Foundation. Big shout out for the Library Foundation. I will also mention that if you haven't bought a ticket for the Love of the Library, a week from tomorrow, you can still come. I think most of you have tickets, but if you don't, see any of us. Okay. The people who have spoken, along with a couple of other people, are going to be at the shovels. They include, and as I call your name, I'd like you to stand up, Foundation President Sam Brown, and the two trustees who led the library board's committee on the Annapolis Capital Project, Joan Beck, former president of the board, and Barbara Maxwell, former council member. So, we're... 2, 1, dig! Your hand up so people can see your thing. Hey, over there.
Oh no, now they uncovered an Indian mound. And